Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of Clutch Conversations. It's your boy Mike. We back at you one more again, live on a Thursday night. Welcome to the show. Appreciate everybody coming out, man. I hope y'all been having an amazing week, man. My week been super tight, man. I had a lot going on this week, but got all that stuff knocked out, man. And so here we are tonight, man. Looking forward to the show, man. It's going to be a dope show. We got the homie Travis coming here in just a few minutes. But first and foremost, man, big shout out to my lovely wife, Takara. Make sure y'all show us some love in the comments. Like I tell y'all all the time, man, she is the backbone of this operations. So definitely make sure you show her some love in the comments and don't stop there. Also, show the channel some love as well. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and Hulk smash that notification bell so you can get notifications each and every time we drop a video here on the channel, man. Let's do some housekeeping stuff. You know how we do. First of all, make sure you can find us. Make sure you follow us everywhere. You can find us. You can find us on Morph Market. You can find us on IG, both pages, Herp Collectors and Herp Collectors Network. Check us out on Facebook as well. And also you can catch Clutch Conversations as well as all the other shows in the Herp Collectors Network catalog. You can catch us on major podcasting platforms. That's Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and more. So definitely make sure you tapping in with us there as well. And make sure you're showing support to both of these organizations, man. US Art Florida. The link for both organizations is in the description of this video. Both of these organizations, man, they fighting round the clock all through the year to help protect our rights as reptile keepers. This is why we do it, man, to keep these reptiles. And so we definitely don't want things that can reduce our ability to keep reptiles and keep them responsible, man. And so these guys out here fighting for our rights, man. So definitely make sure you show them support, show them financial support, definitely rep them, let everybody know about them, whatever you can do, man. Make sure you're showing support to both US Art and US Art Florida. Also, if you're not tapped in with the Double Clutch Patreon, make sure you tap in with us. Me and the homie Matt from Ebony and Ivory Reptiles got a dope Patreon family going down, so definitely tap in with us, man. It's a big time family vibe, nothing but fun in there, man. So definitely tap in with us, man. We really appreciate it. Hey, we're gonna kick some sponsor videos and then we'll be right back.
Join Canova's Patreon today and get access to hundreds of hours of exclusive educational content designed to help you run a successful BallPython business. Get insider information on the latest genetics, hot new combos, and market trends, learning directly from the world's leading BallPython designer. With 5 benefits packed tiers, you may be asking yourself, which tier do I join, Mike? Well, if you're on the fence, I'd recommend the student tier. When I first joined the Patreon almost 4 years ago, this is the tier that I started on, and it's only gotten better since. So don't delay. Join the Canova Patreon today.
Art comes in many forms. And on Miss Angels, it comes to life.
In life, success doesn't come to you. You go to it. In this game, forward thinking is the key to innovation and staying relevant. Plan your work and work your plan. Lose yourself in the art. Lose yourself with wetter morphs.
Big shout out to the sponsors. Appreciate y'all, man. Definitely y'all make sure y'all tapping in with them. Let's see who we got in the comments tonight. We got Shauna, the Sultaness of Support in the building. What's up? What's up? What's up? Big Mike, what's good? Mike Duval, what's good, bro? Appreciate you coming out. Big Vinny, what's good? What's good? Double Clutch Patreon representative. We got Dickie Foster in the building. Dwight, the Pie Man in the building. Danny, what's good? Danny and Renee, what's up? What's up? What's up? See who else we got in. We got the homie Chris in the building, 319. We got Limey in the building. What's good? What's good? What's good? We got the homie Jeff, Ballhead Balls, Herp Collectors Network, Double Clutch Patreon representative. Appreciate you coming out. We got the homie. Speaking of Double Clutch Patreon, we got the homie Big Mac himself. Hey, we're gonna stop it right there. We're gonna kick the intro video, and then we're gonna be right back.
Baby, won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter, I got the fuse. You make a fire, I'll add the fuel. Follow my lead, just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the key up. Get this cool.
Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this? Who you know who looking like this for real? Who you know who looking like this?
What's up? What's up? What's up, homie? The Cali Paint guy in the building. What's good with you?
Living the dream, bro. Yourself?
Living the dream, man. Living the dream, man. Like I say, man, it's been busy all week. So feeling super accomplished, got all that stuff knocked out, man. So that's behind me, man. So in the zone, man. It's good to have you
Best way
here.
to be, locked in.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. That flow state. Good to have you on the
Mhm.
show, man. It's about time, man. That's on me for not making it happen sooner.
No, it's all good. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, man, how things been going for you this week?
This week's been good. I had some hypo paint stuff come out. Looks real good. A couple other paint clutches, real good. I had a shipment of 2.2 Lanthanotus come in, so that's big. So it's
What's
been
not
a
to
real good
notice?
week for me. The
You say
Borneo earless
Lanthanotus?
monitors. Yeah, the Borneo
What are
earless
they?
monitors.
Earless monitors.
Yeah,
Borneo earless
yeah,
monitors.
yeah.
Okay,
Got
okay.
2.2 of them in this week, so it's been a good week for me. I can't complain.
Oh, hell yeah, hell yeah. Is so the monitors, have you
Mhm.
kept that species before? Or is it something new you diving into? What's up with that?
So this is new for me, but I've worked with so many other species in the past. It used to always be a bucket list, animal to keep, and finally had the opportunity to get them. And with all the speculations about possible ESA and all that getting listed on them, is the opportunity to pull the trigger, and I just got to do it while I can.
Gotcha, gotcha. So do a lot of people work with those? Because I feel like I've heard like uh Borneo earless, these Borneo
Yeah,
earless lizards, right?
yeah, Borneo earless monitors. So
Monitors, yeah.
you've seen them a lot. It's the ones where you see they look like a dragon with like the blue looking eyes,
Yeah,
and everybody's always loved them. But they used to always fetch 10 plus K a piece, so it was always one of those I want one but I can't get it type of things. And now
gotcha,
they're to the point now where I mean they're not cheap, but they're within reason now.
gotcha. That makes sense. That makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, so I saw on your website that you work with like over 75 different species. So a lot of experience.
yeah, yeah. Over the years, I've worked with a whole lot of stuff, and a lot of thanks to certain people like Jordan Russell, Taryn Langover, people just in the days getting on CITES list and bringing in whatever I could, just trying to work with everything.
Okay, so that's like what 20 plus years ago when you first got in, huh?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
was it,
So go ahead.
no, I was just gonna say, was it just something you was always into as far as like the reptiles and stuff like that? Like give me the
Yeah,
background.
yeah. So I mean, like anybody else, the same story. You had stuff as kids and things like that, but it got to the point where I was able to get stuff that was in magazines that you can see that you've never seen at a pet store, but you had access to. And this is back, fauna and getting on CITES lists, you don't even know what it is. You just see the name of it. You're going to the library, pulling out the decks to see what it looks like in a book, like pulling out stuff like that, because there's limited information on a lot of the wild caught stuff. Because a lot of times, if you tell somebody it's a $45 gecko, they don't want nothing to do with it. Then you realize it's, how badass it looks, but there's just no market for it because people don't want to establish them. So a lot of it was just once I started getting access to stuff like that, then it became like, all right, let's work a whole genus. So I worked Europlatus a lot. Almost all of them. I had over 16 pairs of Fantasticus, 6 pairs of Peichmani. This is all stuff before they were really even available. Buying them sight unseen, just sending money to people hoping I get something in a box type stuff.
So when you was doing it like that, did you ever like get screwed over or?
Oh, yeah. I've lost a
imagine.
lot of money. Yeah. And so a lot of it back in the days used to be you try to get on lists for ham. And so certain people you'd get on lists and they'd promise, 3.3 of something, and you come in and 5 dead, and the one that's alive is a male, and they're not available for the next 6 years. So it's like a lot of hoping things get to you, a lot of hoping. The biggest thing was like genders. So hoping that your sex ratio is actually what you paid for instead of buying, 2.2 and you get 4.0. So a lot of stuff like that. Absolutely. Yeah. Over the years.
It wasn't no getting your money back or none of that, huh?
No. Yeah. I mean, by the time the money got to whoever was supposed to get it, it's like 5 people removed. I can't point fingers. I don't know where it went. Because the guy I paid gave it to who he said he'd give it to. And then after that, it's like, well, it's a guy in South Africa. Like, well, how the hell am I supposed to find that guy? So it's just, you just gotta, once you tap yourself into the right importers, it's smooth and safe. But figuring out how to get in, that's a learning curve, and it's an expensive one.
So talk about the process of like tapping in with the right suppliers. Like, was it just kind of like trial and error? Or did you kind of network and folks introduce you to people? We lost you.
Sorry about that.
You back. Yes, sir.
Back.
Lost it again. Back.
Yeah, we back.
Yeah, we good now.
Hey, I think my daughter's watching. Tell Matthew not to call me. Tell him to call somebody else. I have it on silent, but since it's my son, it goes through all that,
Okay, yeah. You got them locked in. True.
Yeah, in case it's an emergency. But anyways,
exactly.
So like nowadays it's a lot easier because you could just go on websites and people will take your money. It's a lot of the more sketch people have been phased out just because over time, and now you have access to so many people that the exclusivity isn't quite the same it used to be. But like back in the day, a lot of it was you had to start with some sort of species to prove yourself worthy of bringing in certain things. Because if I wanted to bring in like the Paradora Masobi, everybody wanted them, but they had like a 90% death rate for people working with them. So before they would just sell them to anybody, it's like, well, show me what species you've worked with. All right, you have a chance at not killing this thing. We'll work with you, type stuff like that. So it was a stepping stone. And then a lot of it too is just, I have to be a repeat customer. So once I keep funneling my money into your pockets, you're more willing to loosen up your list for what I can get.
That makes sense. That makes perfect sense. Were you in Cali at the time?
Yeah, I've been in California. Other than in the military, I've been in California forever.
Okay. And were they shipping like straight to the Cali coast?
Yeah, I mean, everything goes through Florida for the most part, but everything came out here.
Okay, gotcha. That's dope, man. That's dope.
Yeah.
And so at what point did you start doing it as like a business?
So I first became a DBA in 2009. And a lot of that back then was I was doing African fat tails, some leopard geckos, and a lot of knob tails. So I was dealing a lot with Steve Sykes and Jeff Galewood Sr. So JMG Reptiles, but the father side. I was dealing with them a lot because they had the access to a lot of that stuff. So when new morphs like Oreo and Whiteout and stuff were coming in, like I was one of the first ones to bring those in. And that comes with a cost too. But you know how it is.
Yeah, you gotta love it, especially back then, man. Like it's not like I feel like it's. I know for me, with this particular species that I work with most, like with ball pythons and whatnot, I feel like it's easy mode compared to like some of the stories I hear from back in the day.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy because the information's out there for everybody, but people still would rather believe hearsay, and they want to work with species you can put in a tub and forget. So then, like the biggest thing that drives me nuts now is everybody's talking about diversity, but all they're doing is diversifying to the other stuff at the shows. There are thousands of species people are just turning a blind eye to because it's diversity to them is what else is at the show. It's like there's some crazy stuff that people could start working that would be more rewarding, maybe a little more difficult, just require you to actually pay attention. But man, some crazy stuff is out there.
Like what sort of species you feel like people sleeping on?
So I think a lot of any of like the Australian gecko stuff, a lot of it's slept on just because it's kind of harder to get. So you get into like the Diplodactylus. Like everybody likes the Strophaeus ciliaris. I mean, they're beautiful, but there's Tanacuda, there's Elderi, there's all these other subspecies that people kind of just don't work with. Access is limited, but if you're willing to drop a little coin, you can get all this stuff that's just it's still easy, but it's not a tub. Everybody wants something that's in a tub because I could stack 30 high and say, I'm a breeder instead of having something crazy big and you got 3 animals in there hoping that they're going to give you some live birth.
What do you have in there?
Shiniosaurus crocodilurus. So I have a 1.2 back here. I'll be brewmating them here in a little while, and hoping we get some production from them next year.
Okay. What's the common name?
Chinese crocodile.
Chinese crocodile?
Lizards.
Okay.
Yeah, Chinese crocodile
Chinese
lizards.
crocodile lizards. How big do they get?
About 16, 18 inches ish.
Okay.
A little bit smaller on the female side, but I mean they're beautiful. I love them, and they've been thriving. But they're finally at the age where last year I didn't brewmate them. They were kind of young adults, so if they wanted to do the thing, I was going to let them, but I didn't want to kind of force the cycle on them with brumation. So this year I'll brumate them. They've got plenty of age, 5 years old, so got nothing wrong with that. We'll see what we could get.
Gotcha. So what drew you to those?
So they were another one of those things that was I could never find them. Then I finally found them, and then it was if I'm going to do it, I want to do it right. And so when I was doing all my gecko stuff and all my other lizards, I had just tanks everywhere. Everything was exoterras, rooms full of them. I had a facility at one point for about 4 years running, reptiles exclusively. And then as I kind of got back into everything, it went into ball pythons because the kids wanted to help out. And the paint and play aspect of working with any morph species is addicting, man. But then when something like this, you're not worried about the morph. There aren't any morphs. The prize is the animal and if you can reproduce them. So there's people that have been trying for 5, 6 years, get nothing. There's people that produce them every year without even trying. So there's so many variables with them that depending on who you ask, it's easy or it's impossible. How to set it up, we could all do it the same, but barometric pressures, ambient humidity, there's so many variables with them that I enjoy. When you tell me they're not easy, I'm going to buy one.
Gotcha. Yeah. So that's funny. You actually kind of like tapped in a little bit into where I want to go with it in terms of because you talk to a lot of people who work like the more lesser known species and stuff like that. Like a lot of those people, they kind of like poo-poo on ball pythons. Like they were like, I want to deal with ball pythons. That's super mainstream, this, that, and the third. And so I was going to ask you, like with having so much experience with like all these other different species that got all like their own challenges, what drew you to the ball pythons? But it sounds like it's the morph game. It's kind of like your challenge with the ball python game.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of truth in that. And you look at someone like Dennis McNamara, like he has access to everything, works at the zoo, and he still has ball pythons. There's something with being able to do the paint and play. There's something with the creativity side of it. The species is easy. I mean, sounds bad, but you could forget them for a while and they're still like, yeah, cool, I'll throw some clutches your way. Maybe not as frequently or whatever, but it's not impossible to work ball pythons. So then the challenge with it is your creativity. What do I see in the morphs? How do I see the mixing of things? So the creation side of that it's a lot of fun, and it kind of breaks some of the monotony of, I already know what a lot of my other stuff's going to look like, maybe some slight aberrant patterns and stuff, but it looks this. Where the ball pythons, I see this, I wonder what that'll look like. Then you keep, chasing down that road, but it is a rat race because by the time I produce that, someone's already 5 steps ahead with 2 hets. So you're always constantly chasing, which is its own beast too. So like for me, and I know a lot of people that do like a lot of other species, a manageable amount of ball pythons is a lot of fun because my expectations is I'm working my projects. Whether you want it or not, I'm working mine, and I don't have a lot of production. So sometimes you win, sometimes you lose when you're gambling on small collections and hoping the genes you like other people will. But for me, it's just fun.
Gotcha. Hell yeah, it's got to be fun. We was having a similar conversation the other day, like just talking about like the money pieces of it and whatnot, and how you can't just be motivated by the money because it's gonna be times when the money ain't there or whatnot. Like it's slow times. Like you really gotta love the game. I don't know if you ever 100%. Seen Paid in Full, but like dude in Paid in Full, it's like, man, I love the game. And I was saying like that's how you gotta be, man. You gotta love the game.
Yeah, and I think you see that a lot more with species that require time for maturity. So like even staying more mainstream, but going like boas. When you get into boas and you realize you got years before you're even trying, you have to love what it is you got. For ball pythons, it's very easy to be like, I got this male, he's 120 grams. I got him this next year for sure. Like slamming him with food and he's all fat and like, sure, I'll do it. Like it works. You can get away with that. You got, so you can always stay active in that race where you get something like that or, other species where it's like, all right, I got 5 years to grow these things up to maybe get a live litter. And I got to hope along the whole way I didn't screw something up. So I think it's the ball python game's very easy to enjoy at a fast pace, which is what like one of the biggest things that to me is when everybody says investment. So as soon as you say I invested, you're money driven. I don't care what you say because now you're looking at ROI. If you invested, your family didn't go to Hawaii because you got that snake. So now it's got something to do for you. Whereas like, anything else, if the prize is just working with the species, then it doesn't matter. I'll clean crap all day. It doesn't matter to me. I got them because I want them. This thing is a lot of work to maintain. I don't care. I love it. I'll come out here and I'll just watch everything happen in there.
That's dope. That's dope. And so you had got out for a minute, right? Like you sold the whole collection.
Yeah.
Walk us through that story and then kind of how you landed back into it where you at now.
So that breaks my heart because that was rough. But so at one point I had a full facility. I had 3 different rooms climatized for different species I was working with. And then that's just so unmanageable that we have a large house. We had a 3-story house at the time. And so we brought everything to the house and I had rooms in the house set up for all that. And then, it continued to grow and I was working a lot of stuff. And then we ended up having to move. And I was like, that's impossible. Like, I'm not going to find something. I don't want to buy something that I can do this in again at the time. Like, it just didn't line up financially with the timing that I had, everything like that. So in a way, it was like me just kind of like throw my middle finger at the world. It was like, if I can't have what I want, then I want nothing. I don't want anything. I don't want to see any animals because I was going to have to sell my cold stuff. And that was what I loved the most. Like all
Your
my
who stuff? Your
Masobies.
cold stuff.
Yeah, cold. So like a lot of my Madagascar stuff that liked it a lot colder. I live in SoCal. So it's 115 out here and I had a room running, high 60s.
Mm.
So for me, that's cold because it's hot. I live in a desert.
Okay.
So, I mean, when my electric bill's $1,800 a month just trying to keep one room at a good temperature, it's like you start going through the logistics. You're like, oh man, like, do I want to keep it? And then once I decided, I was like, all right, I got to let all the cold stuff go. And it just was like, nah, like we're gonna get rid of everything, and we'll figure it out when the time is right again. So for about 2 years, I didn't have really anything at all. And luckily enough, I gave a lot of that stuff to people I trust in the communities. And I see my lineage all still available. My website's probably down now because I stopped paying for it. I stopped updating it. But I had like
It's up.
my actual website's still up.
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, because on there you could see like my Fantasticus bloodlines. I know I had that charted on there. People use that for a long time. So it's like all my lineage is still out there. And so it was good. I gave a lot of it away. Obviously, I sold some, but for me, it was like these are all my babies. If I'm getting rid of 32 breeder Fantasticus, I could sell those and make good money. Or I could give them to people who I know are going to do right by the project, did right by me when I was bringing stuff in. Like I gave a lot of stuff to good people, which ended up paying dividends when I came back in. There was a lot of people like, oh, dude, welcome back. What can I do to help you out? What, I know this guy, he'll do like it's been good coming back into the community with the people that I left with at the time.
And how long were you out?
Just almost about 2 years.
About 2
It
years.
was about
okay.
2 years. Yeah. And
Okay,
ironically,
so you just spent the block.
yeah, it wasn't bad. It was just do the move, settle in, get things figured out. And I got it right here. Actually, I'll show you. This is what got me back into it. I was cleaning stuff and where's the camera? So I got this back in the days. So it's a Gecko Image of the Year award, whatever, when they used to do this, right?
Gotcha.
So I was cleaning stuff up and I saw that and I was like, oh man, those were good times. And my wife
Big
was
shout
like,
out to Robin.
yeah. My wife was like, oh, why don't you just get back into them? I was like, nah. She's like, just do it, but do it right. And it was like, I left for work, come back home. I'm like, we're about to be broke. We're starting over. So yeah, no, we saw that just kind of kicking around and I was like, you miss it, like, because I was doing it for the animals. I didn't care about the money side. And then so when you got rid of everything, it was like just spinning your wheels, trying to figure out what you're going to do. I'm with the kids all the time, but it's like, I still wanted my thing. like I take pride in my stuff. So for me, it was like I come out here and it's like that's mine. I built that, and it's good. I love it.
Dope, dope. Did you got right into ball pythons when you got back in, pretty much?
Yeah. I got into ball pythons, and a lot of it was kind of I wanted the girls because my girls are older now, but they didn't really remember any of the stuff I had. They were too young at the time. And so, I would be talking to them and they tell them like, "Oh, I used to keep these and those and these." They're like, "What? No way." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, look, here's a picture of you with it." And then so I was trying to like do something that they might want to kind of kick around with me, like everybody else. You're either getting cresties, leopards, or ball pythons. And I was like, well, I don't want to be scraping glass. And I did the leopard gecko thing. Like, we'll try the ball pythons a little bit heavier and just have fun with that. So just got into that just right before COVID, which I mean, depending on how you look at it, it's good and bad. So it's 2019, kind of just picked everything back up, started building from there. And then yeah, it's been an easy road because I've stayed so small, but
Uh-huh.
it's been an interesting road because there's a lot of people that like I was in Bush League Breeders Club, I was doing fauna, king snake, all that. Like I was in all that stuff, man. So now I come back and it's people who came in that interim, and it's just a different industry. It's wild.
Did you get into the paint stuff like when you first got in, or did that take a while?
Nah, the paint stuff kind of came second. So I got into paint because of Limey,
Okay.
and I got to know Limey absolutely nothing to do with ball pythons. I was doing what I want to do. I didn't care about the ball python side of it like that. But Limey does a lot of work for veterans and he advocates for it a lot. And I'm huge into that, veteran suicide awareness and all that stuff like that. That's what I love to do. And so he was always promoting stuff and speaking on it. So I just reached out to him like, hey, just we started having small talk. And I'm looking at his animals. I'm like, hey, those are pretty fucking cool. What are those? He's like, oh, it's paint, dummy. Limey, how he talks is it'd be a whole long bleep for what he's talking to me about. But yeah, so just him and I bullshitting, and then he ended up like, all right, well, send me some money, I'll send you a box, and I don't know what I'm gonna get, so fuck it, let's do it. And so then he just got me kind of tapped into that, and from there it's just been. I love what it does. I love that there's so much to do with it. It's it. Everybody says it's just like every other granite gene, and I'm not gonna say it's not terribly dissimilar, but it's definitely not the same. So
It's not the same for sure.
mm-mm. No, yeah. So it's been a lot of fun. The paint stuff's been interesting for me. The only bad part with it is there's so much that's all new still that I'll hatch stuff out and I send a picture to 10 people and they all have 15 answers. I'm like, well, what the hell is it? Hey, Charlie, help me out here. So,
So talk about what all you are doing with paint.
so hypo paint's my main thing I'm hitting when it comes to doubles. I just actually hatched a few hypo paints in this last week's clutch. Beautiful. Not sure entirely what they are. Got to check Spectre on some of them. Leopard doesn't play too well with paint, so I got some that might be hypo paints, but with leopard it plays, so stuff like that. But
What does it do with leopard?
leopard's really strong on paint. So it's hard because paint has some sort of head influence anyway. So then when you have leopard paint, it doesn't necessarily look like a paint. It just looks like a little funky leopard, but leopard's already kind of funky. So without the shed testing, like I wouldn't say do it. I would not intentionally work leopard into it. Like I have some stock. I'm trying to figure out if I can create something, some sort of right pairing. But yeah, I mean, just in general, I would stay away from leopard paint unless you really want to tinker with some stuff. But yeah, so hypo paint's my main thing. Obviously, I got desert ghost paint. I got true ghost paint. Got some. I ended up finding out a girl was hypo this year, which pushed that project way further. So I got some hypo double head stuff growing now, and then I got ultra mil cryptic paint.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but my main thing is hypo paint, and then really just paint. Like I'm trying to look at the doubles. Can I get super OD? Could I get Hayabusa? Could I get what can we still unlock with paint itself? Everyone's chasing doubles, triples, quads, and they don't even know what a 2 gene paint looks like. The amount of misidentified paints is wild. And they're already shooting for triples. Like, dude, you don't even know what the hell you're going to look at. Like, you got to dial it back and figure things out.
Yeah, what's your general thoughts on that? Like, I've had this conversation a bunch of times, so I've already shared like kind of how I feel about it. But in my opinion, like I feel like we pushing like some of these multi-recessive projects like way too quick, because there's so many things like along the way that we're not even seeing, but everybody kind of like shooting for it. Like, what are your thoughts on it?
I mean, it's so I listened to the podcast you and Matt did about that, and I agree with a lot with what you guys are saying. I think the right collection, you could tinker with it, but I think so many people are focused so heavy on multi-recessives that they're like to me, I don't think it's a wise business idea. Yes, there's monetary value in it, but all your byproduct, good luck. All of the people chasing it, like because even if you hit that one in whatever odds you're looking at, depending on your pairing, you're keeping it anyway. So you're not selling it, so you didn't recoup anything. But then your collection's more valuable, yada yada yada. It's like I think if you dial it back and you just actually work projects like Ozzy does his thing because his Orange Dream has been worked with him. You start looking at people's lines, it's because they've perfected or have, tried to, in essence, perfect the lines they're working with. But when everybody's chasing recessives, they don't even care what the phenotype looks like. It's what genes does it have? Oh, I'll test for this, test for that. Like, yeah, dude, but you've watered down the quality of your animals because you didn't care what they looked like. You cared what the het was. And I just think it's the wrong direction for most people. Absolutely, when you got 500 breeders, dude, go for it.
Yeah.
But when you're sitting like me, I don't breed more than 25 females at all. Like that's my max females I have, if I even choose to breed them. I'm not trying to chase all that. No way.
Yeah, like even with the number stuff I got now, I'll be thinking like I probably should cut a project. And I think I should
Yeah.
like move some stuff out. I go back and forth, like because once I get to a point to where I'm like trying to like actually pick out something, then I start talking myself out of it.
Yeah. The hard part is like almost all my stuff mixes together. So my True Go stuff and my Hypo Paint stuff, there's a lot of integration. The female could be used both projects. So I have a lot of like that sort of play. I have a few pairings I made myself for like the DG stuff and all that. But for the most part, if it doesn't work in that circle, I'm not interested in it because I'm not trying to produce more snakes. I'm trying to produce what I want. And then I'm picky as hell when it comes to what I bring in. So it's I think there's a market for it and there's a place for it. But I think that as a whole, the market chasing the trips and quads and quints, all that, like it's the wrong direction if you ask me. You're gonna make some beautiful stuff, but go ahead and add an Orange Dream now. Tell me how that works out. You got to start all over. Just some powerful doubles, I think, will get you so much further stability-wise in your own collection and your projection into the future. If you look at the guys that are producing the triples and quads, they're banging out a bunch of doubles that are crazy too, though. And so they already have these stepping stones. They're not buying quad head stuff.
Yeah, 100%. That makes perfect sense. Hey, we're gonna take a real quick sponsor break, and then we'll be right back and talk about this some more.
Yeah.
Known for his innovative approach to genetic shed testing and top-quality ball pythons, Grey Rider Reptiles also excels in exceptional customer service and responsiveness. With a quick turnaround time, Charlie ensures you get the service you want and need. Visit shedtesting.com to explore his offerings and experience the best in the business. Don't miss out. Head to shedtesting.com today and unlock the power of your breeding projects.
Peace and love, family. We invite you into the heart of our serenity, Ancestral Royal Pythons. At Ancestral Royal Pythons, we're not just breeders, we're nurturers of love and growth. Each of our high-end ball pythons is a tribute to the grandeur of the natural world and our dedication to quality. Reach out today and bring one of our creations into your home. This is Ancestral Royal Pythons. Your journey begins here.
Passion. Some are born with it, others chase it their whole lives. At MCBR, animals aren't just a business, they are a legacy. Driven by obsession, defined by quality. At MCBR, the passion drives us, the quality defines us. Our motto is simple: live your dream. For years, he worked in silence, shaping projects few could even imagine. A figure once hidden is now stepping into the light. The vault is opened. The path is revealed. At the center of it all, Barry's swoop. Elusive propagations. From the shadows to the spotlight, the vision is undeniable. Hypo Puzzle King!
Big shout out to the sponsors. Big shout out to the sponsors. Y'all make sure y'all checking them out. So
Yeah, Barry just
Barry.
hatched some Barry's Orange Dream Hypo Paint stuff, man.
Yeah.
That looks good.
Yeah, I
That
saw
looks
him
real good.
telling you to make sure you talk up the Hypo Paint project. Yeah, so let's
Oh,
do
for
it,
sure,
man.
man.
You ain't letting the homie down.
Oh, for sure. Like what's crazy is like they've been out for a while. There's a handful of people with multiple breeder size females going for them and stuff, but there's still so much to be done with it. It's crazy. And Hypo's sleeping in a lot of people's paint stuff coming from people like Chun and stuff like that. Like Hypo's just kind of in there. So you gotta watch out. Limey too. Talking about how shiny my head is, whatever. He could run his mouth, but
He told you to put a hat on earlier. I meant to
yeah,
bring it
no.
up.
I've been trying to get him to adopt me forever. His cheap ass won't do it. But yeah, no, so it's the hypo paint. I really do think it's crazy the color oranges that come through paint in general, then with the hypo on top. I think hypo paint's gonna be something big for a while.
Nice. And you working like what is it called? Mogwai as well.
Yeah, Mogwai, you know that the fake gene that Lemmy likes to put out there. So yeah, I mean there's a whole lot of trying to figure out what it is and what it's doing it exactly. I have a super that I have pairing to a bunch of stuff that I'm trying to pull. It's het paint. I'm trying to pull it out of paint in general because everyone's like, oh, it's just the paint, het paint, het paint. So I'm gonna do a bunch of Mogwai stuff completely unrelated to paint. It's gonna be negative tested for paint because it's really reactive to cypress. So I made some crazy cypress Mogwai stuff on its own. It's super dark, super vibrant, but it brings earthy tones. I did some well, I didn't do anything, but Portuguese pythons, they have a male that they got for me that they threw it in with the hurricane with special black pastel, and it's like it made some really good stuff, which is going to be up to size this year. So we'll see. Maybe some Hayabusa Super Mogwai Yellow Belly special paints coming up. I don't know. It's in the works.
Okay. So have you made the super Mogwai stuff?
I have I didn't make it. Limey did, and
Okay.
it was from the original female that he had imported, or he got imported. He didn't bring it in himself, but so I have a Super Mogwai Yellow Belly het paint male, and I'm gonna start throwing him to a bunch of stuff just to pull the Mogwai out of the paint project so I can see what it does and put it in the hands of a couple people that are doing stuff like clown. I don't work any clown, but see what it does in clown, because if it works in clown, then obviously people are gonna love it. But yeah, so I mean it's one of those things. It's not gonna be a groundbreaking gene. It's not gonna be, the next tornado, but it 100% shows in the animals and it definitely makes things look nice. So to me, it's just another ingredient you can mess with, and there's no reason not to. The super works. It's not a white snake, black snake, no problems with it. But yeah, Mogwai is something I like it a lot. But it's that anytime people say, "Hey, do you see Mogwai in here?" I'm like, "Bro, I've never made that pairing. How would I know?" It's all still a guessing game on some of these combos.
Yeah. Would you say that it's like similar to any other geniuses out there?
Not necessarily. Like when you look at it at face value, you pull in like rich blacks like a blackhead does, because the blacks stay black. But then you get like these earthy tones that you start seeing more with like red stripe. And I'm not saying it looks like a blackhead red stripe, but when you're pulling like tones, it does. You get like rich blacks and you get earthy tones. And then it's real reactive too with yellow belly and things like that. Spectre, I see language saying he has it in some OD stuff. Like, yeah, it plays well with everything I've ever mixed it with. I've not seen a reason not to keep tinkering with it just for fun. But yeah, Mogwai is something I like it a lot. I know Mary's got a handful of it. A lot of people who got stuff from Limey have it because back when you couldn't even give paint away, he had Mogwai in his paint stuff. So I know I think Chad Holker has some Mogwai floating in his stuff, and a handful of other people have a fair amount of Mogwai in their collection. But it's now you got to figure out how to ID it.
Yeah, I definitely heard going back to what you said about the paint back when you had to try to give paint away. Why do you think people were sleeping on it so much at first?
Man, so a lot of it's marketing, and you got to look at time when it came out, when it was popular. Granite jeans weren't like when you're trying to chase GHI, like anything after GHI and stuff. Like if it didn't blow up in your face, it wasn't going to sell. And then you say it's a granite jeans, like yeah, every import's a granite jean. So And then when it was incomplete dominant, everyone's looking at a paint going, that looks like crap. I don't want to work that. You need to work the super paint. And they're like, I don't want to work supers. But then once they started saying, oh, it's recessive, it's like, oh, well, the single gene doesn't even matter. I'm working the visual recessive. Just changes mindset, changes market. You got, obviously COVID helps because you got people trying to chomp at the bit for any new project. And then that put paint in the hands of people who wanted to work it because I want to be the next guy. So let me get this new gene that's untapped and it's been around forever. Everyone slept on it. I'm about to make it blow up. So it helped. And it always helps when Canova puts a video out.
Hey, real quick, big shout out to the homie Kane, man. Double Clutch Patreon representative. He gonna be on the show this weekend. Double Clutch. The homie Matt's not gonna be here. It's gonna be me and the homie Kane holding it down for this upcoming Saturday's episode of Double Clutch. Big shout out to you, homie. Appreciate the super chat. So, like, I heard you talking about like the head influence of paint, and then people used to call it incomplete dominant, and they saying like getting the super plant. So what's your thoughts on it? Like, you think it's incomplete dominant? You think it's recessive? Do you think it's really any true recessives? Like, what's your thoughts on all of that?
Yeah, so I mean, no matter what, we're gonna dumb everything down genotypically because we all think we know what the fuck we're talking about.
Right.
So at the end of the day, nobody wants. I can see influence on most things, not all things. Some combos, even the same combo, one's like crazy influence, the other's not. Kind of like het hypo. You're like, wow, that's bright. Oh yeah, it's het hypo. I'm like, oh, it makes sense. But not all of them are like that.
Yeah.
Paint's the same way, where you can see it in some things, you're like, oh, 100%. Then you see it in others, you're like, that's het for sure. And then Charlie's like, no, bro, you missed on that one. So there's a lot of I think if you treat it as a recessive, you won't break your own heart. But if you try to pretend that it's reliable enough to treat it as an incomplete dominant, then you're going to have a lot of stuff that you're expecting some visuals and you're not going to get them. Or you're going to have a lot of customers who hit up Charlie later on and you're going to have some refunds to do. So it's definitely not something that I would trust to visually identify. I can post clutches from a visual to something else and everything's guaranteed het. And some of them you're like, nah, not at all. But if I didn't tell you paint was in it, you wouldn't say there's het paint in there. Like, so if I have to tell you the pairing to already sway your judgment on what you think you see phenotypically, no, it's not. Then you shouldn't even be labeling it. If I have to tell you it's a paint clutch for you to know that there might be het paint, it's not visual.
Yeah, that makes sense. Matt said the head influence will make you scream sometimes.
Oh, he's dealing with that with his red stripe clutch right now. He's sending me pictures. He's like, "What's this?" I'm like, "I don't know." It looks beautiful. I'll take it. But red stripe and paint, man, that's a definite go. So he had a nice clutch, and then adding Huffman and all that other stuff.
He did.
Yeah.
Like,
shout out to Matt. He's got some good stuff going.
Yeah, Matt's super excited. Like, that's basically like his primary project. I mean, but for those who don't know, like, that's his primary project.
Yeah. He was like, oh, that clutch is due in a week. I'm like, no, it's due tonight, bro. Let's do this. Like, just come. And he didn't fall for it though. I had to wait.
Let's get into a little bit of market talk. Did you get a chance to watch that video that I sent you?
I did. So
what's your thoughts on that?
I agree with the large majority of what he's saying. I think some of the stuff I may not necessarily agree with entirely is like when he's saying like leopard gecko people and stuff. It's any morph species, you're chasing the morph. I don't care what anybody says. You're not trying to keep a regular, normal wild type, whatever you want to call it. No one is trying to build a rack of those. You're always chasing the morph. So it is what it is. You have to understand that when you're chasing the morphs, then marketing matters, which is why Canova is so fucking good. He puts out a video. So he'll put out a video for a gene that he's got 80 things available. He's about to drop. Everyone wants it. He does a drop, sold out. Marketing is fucking genius. But when you're working with morphs, I have to incentivize you to want to work my project. While I'm out here talking about hypopaint, I love it. I also want you to get into it. If I said hypopaint sucks, it's not the best thing, then why would I be breeding them? So at the end of the day, when you're working with morphs, you're always trying to create some sort of supply demand with whatever you do. And it kind of goes back to what we talked about earlier with investment. As soon as I say that's an investment snake, I'm expecting an ROI now. That thing has work to do for me because I invested in it. So now whatever's in that snake, that animal, whether it's passively or not, because I've made a financial decision while purchasing it, there's going to be financial incentive when I'm trying to sell it. Now, I don't think as many people are kind of as misleading or sales pitchy as it was during COVID. Like I think a lot of his video was absolutely true 2 years ago. Nowadays, I don't think I see that really as much, where it's people are trying to dial it back. And then they always tell everybody, "Oh, I'm not breeding as much," and then you're like, "No, bro, you're still on clutch 342." Like, yeah, you are. So you're still pumping numbers, but outwardly, you're trying to kind of help influence the market to not overproduce, which you do with as you will. But I agree with a lot of what, and just so anybody knows what with what Chris was saying, I agree with a lot of it. I think a lot of people take it the wrong way. It's short form, you know, content that he put out. There was no dialogue. There's no like the nuance of some people are doing it, but when you speak in generalities, you're gonna piss a lot of people off.
Yeah.
So
That's kind of the
I,
point too, like with videos. You know what I mean? You gotta
yeah,
post it in a way that's gonna get engagement and get people watching.
yeah.
And if
Hey, how
you
many people shared it saying, "Hey, fuck this guy"? It's like, well, you shared my video, didn't you? You know, it's like you weren't subscribed to my Patreon or whatever. However, he's getting capital from you. He didn't care.
yeah, yeah,
So I mean,
it's
some
different
of
than a
it's
podcast. Like a podcast is more longer form content. You can get into nuance.
yeah,
It's like back and forth in engagement and dialogue and whatnot. But like for a video like that, you gotta say what you gotta say, and you gotta say it
yeah.
in a way that keeps people engaged, like
Oh
the
yeah.
whole time.
You got to pull the pin and get out, bro. Like
Yeah.
just lob that in there and see what happens. But what's like for you? What's your opinion on it? Because you've been primarily you did boas in the beginning too, right?
Yeah, I kept several species at the beginning, and I'm
Okay,
not
so
gonna lie,
now
bro. Go
yeah,
ahead.
now you're mostly ball python.
Yeah.
All right, so if I said right now, for you personally, do you believe that you are sales pitchy in your projects to try to help pump them out to create the demand?
Real quick for Brandon, real quick. Well, that's the point of the type of videos that Chris is dropping. If that makes
Yeah.
sense. Like I feel like the videos and content that Brandon dropped is it's got a different point than like
Oh, for sure.
Chris's. So it's gonna be like a different strategy. So I
Yeah.
agree with
Oh,
that.
for sure.
Touche. But what was you asking me?
So like for you on your personal level, so I'm trying to read all his stuff. On like your personal level, when you look at his video, because you came in around the same time frame when, but you were before that. What year did you come in again?
I came in 2020, so like
Okay, so COVID.
on hype train. Yeah.
Yeah, so on the hype train, Pete, that was the sales pitch. Hey, you could be Miguel. Look at Canova's new facility. Like that was a sales pitch. It was incentivizing. And now you're looking at it, and most people, like 98% of people, I've realized like I'm not Miguel or Canova, right? So do I still want to do this? Do you feel like the push on the dream, the life is what it was in 2020, 22, all that, or do you think it's died down, or is it still stayed?
It's definitely way different than how I was hearing it in 2020. And I think that's for like probably multiple reasons. The way I hear things is a lot different now just because of having more experience. Whereas back then I had a lot less experience to really pull from in this industry. And so if I would interpret something differently now than if I heard it like 4 or 5 years ago, you know what I mean? Just because of the
Yeah.
experience and stuff like that. So I do think that's part of it, but I do think there is some truth into like what you was just saying as far as like the hype train and kind of like pumping it and people like, I don't know, it just seems like it's so many like information outlets out there right now, especially like with all the podcasts and stuff and like people just talking. Like I feel like I don't know, like I do feel like transparent is probably the wrong word, but I do feel like it's a lot of information out there and people like talking about all sides of it, right? Because I mean, we all
Yeah.
see what's happening. We've all, well, not all of us, but a lot of us went through like COVID and how it was then, and kind of the market when stuff dropped off right after COVID, and kind of like where we are now, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And getting back. So I do feel like it's a little bit different. Even back then though, like I don't feel like most people, like I can only really think of an example of like one person, like right off the top of my head, who hyped it to the point of like making it sensational. You know what I mean? Like you brand it, you promote your projects, like you do like all the smart business stuff. But to me, that's
Yeah.
smart, like business stuff. That's business.
Yeah, that's
moves.
business. That's not animals.
Exactly. Yes, there was a level of hype. But I can only really think of like one person that explicitly said, do this, do this, do this,
Yeah.
do this, and you can knock it out. Like I only
Yeah.
can really think of one person that was like super crunk like that.
Yeah, no, and I agree entirely. So that's what I'm saying. Like when you watch his video, it's like it's not entirely wrong. Conceptually, I agree with it, but I also don't think the extent of which he's talking about is what's actually happening. Um, but I also think there's, like, you touched on something right now talking about information. So one thing that you realize a lot once you start getting into some obscure stuff, less commonly worked and not a lot of information out there. Ball pythons, people conflate information with husbandry with business. So if I know a project's dead or going to die, is it would I be an ethical breeder if I didn't put a video out? Do I have to say, hey everybody, I don't like this project, get out of it, if I believe it's going that way? So is that information or is that opinion? To me, when you're working with stuff like this, information is on the animal itself. How do I keep it alive, breed it? Like the actual care and husbandry of the animal. Information like that, I think, should be everywhere, should be abundant, should be free. But once you start going into the business side of it, now you're talking, how do I invest? Well, that's an opinion. What's worth, what project's big, what's dying, what's the new thing? Like, that's opinion. That's not information, that's all opinion. So if you're basing what you do off someone else's opinion, that I don't even think that's a market issue. That's a you problem. Like, why are you listening to some talking head on the internet? You know what you would get into if you believed everybody on the internet? Like you have to have some level of self responsibility
Oh yeah,
for making
1000%.
decisions off of an
1000%.
opinion on the internet. So I think information gets conflated with business, and a lot of people are talking business that haven't even lived through enough cycles of the reptile industry to understand the cycles of the industry.
Yeah, 1000%, 1000%. When I was saying information, I was more so talking on the business side, like as far as like the market and stuff like that. I feel like the conversations about the different cycles, I hear those now more, especially now that we've kind of gone through like a different cycle. When I first came in, there wasn't a lot of talk. At least where I was listening, there wasn't a lot of talk about the cycles as much as it kind of, once it kind of came up, then more people was talking about cycles, and this is a thing, and that's natural in any business. So it's something to be
100%.
Expected. But I do feel like there were more conversations about it, and maybe it was just because more people had voices, more people had platforms. Maybe it's because we're actually going through it and people asking about it and the timing and stuff like that. I think it's a combination of a whole bunch of things. It's definitely personal accountability. I agree with that 1000%. Like, you will never catch me saying anything different as far as personal accountability. I don't even know where I was going with that, but
well, I mean, to piggyback off, to agree with you and kind of piggyback what you're saying, it's like when the hype was high, you're selling the dream because it's still climbing. You still had, albeit not necessarily true, you still had potential to grow. Then as the market starts to correct itself, now you need to tell everybody, like, hey, steady your nerves. This is what it's going to be. It's going to drop. It's going to be here. And a lot of people that were in it purely for the money, they found out, like, oh shit, this is different.
And to be honest, bro, like in the hype phase, not to cut you off, but
no, you're good.
In the hype phase, from a business perspective, why would your messaging be, you know what I mean? Like, hey, this is going to crash. This is going to crash. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Like, that just don't make no sense from a business perspective. Like,
exactly. So is it unethical to sell high when the market's high? No, that's expected.
Every industry, not just this industry.
100%. So I think the only problem that you start getting into, like, markets and then you bring in animals, is all these animals went somewhere. And all these, also going back to like the quads, the trips and all that, you now have, how many people keep Cribos, any sort of dry marcon, because they have ball pythons? How many people have tegus because they have ball pythons? How many freezers are full because they have ball pythons? So that's where I think you start getting into ethics, is as you're pushing this height, we need to hit this trip, this quad, this whatever, this penta. What are you doing with all that stuff when you don't have a wholesale outlet? You can't wholesale stuff at the show anymore because $20 snakes aren't appetizing to anybody. Like, so man, this conversation goes in circles because it's all chasing itself. And at the end of the day, if you got into the animals for the money, you just need to get out. I don't care what cost it hurts for me personally, the industry as a whole. You got to rebuild with people that care. And then you go into like USARC. It's all cyclical. If You've got all these people that don't care, and husbandry goes out the window, then USARK has to get involved because now you have all these other issues going on with people just letting shit go or whatever it may be. It's not good for the industry. So the corrections needed, but I think like the ball python specifically people need to understand that there's a whole nother world of people that keep purely for the species. A $45 gecko imported because they want to reproduce them. There's a whole industry on the side of everything that you're not chasing morphs. The morphs don't matter. It's the species. And the more people dabble into that, I think the less the drastic changes and fluctuations within the ball python market seen.
Yeah, and that's another point he made too, which I agree with that. Similarly to what you was just saying about being into it for the animals, being into it for the experience of the animals,
100%.
and like let that part drive you, because that part gonna always be there. The money, it's not gonna always be there. But like we was talking earlier, you gotta love the game.
Yeah, 100%. And it's the more you love it, I like. So what I actually like is I see all these people getting into new species, and it's anecdotal. I mean, I have really no idea how many people are, but you see more people willingly to talk about it or post it. I'm not a huge fan of seeing everybody kind of go the chondro route because that's financially driven. A lot of people are financially driven on that. They see how much the sickness costs, and they're like, "Oh God, that's a Chevy." So I mean, it's beautiful species, absolutely chondros. I've worked with them. I've had Jayapuras for a while. Love the species, but like I want to see people working stuff to convince me you're working something because of the species. Don't tell me it's 10 grand in order for you to get it. That's just kind of how I am. There's so many things out there that you just don't see. So in California, and because in Florida, you get a lot of crazy stuff at the shows too. California, we got some pretty diverse stuff. But a lot of the other shows you see, it's like, dude, this rinse and repeat the same 10 species. And maybe some spiders on the other guy's table. So
yeah, that's why I was interested in what you was talking about earlier, like with some of the other species, because a lot of those species that you was just rattling off, I'll keep it a book. I don't know half of them.
Yeah.
And it's on me, you know what I'm saying? Like I'm the one who don't know it. But I mean, there's so many species out there and whatnot. But I guess what I'm saying is, hearing you talk about like so many species and talking about them like so passionately and whatnot, it just kind of like open your mind up to like all the things this out there, and just thinking about it, like stuff that's like not even on my mind, and you talking about keeping it and you breeding and you got all this experience with it. So that's pretty dope.
Yeah, it's not for everybody though. Like I'll definitely say that because it's a different type of passion. Because kind of like how we separated the ball pythons, it's like the creation side of it's the passion. You love your animals, you take care of them because you're excited for the what next. Where if you're working with some of these other species, like these lanthanotus, I'm probably never going to see unless I'm feeding. So I drop a lot of money. We're not going to Hawaii because I got these lanthanotus, and I'm probably never going to see them because they're elusive. And if I build my enclosure correctly, they're not going to see me because that's what they want. So I'm keeping the species because I want the species. I want to proliferate the species, get them in hands of other people who I like and trust. There's like Will Morose. He's first dude that's getting one of these. I'm going to make him now because I was going to go to Canada. Now that he's in the States, he could fly my ass to him, help him build some big ass enclosure, and we're going to set him up with some Shinosaurus. Like stuff like that. I would rather, do I need to make capital? I mean, it'd be nice, but I don't care. I'd rather see good people get good animals and just do what they want with them. So it's two-sided. It's not for everybody because it is more work. When you say you spend $2,000 on a lizard, but your enclosure costs $4,000, that's not appealing to a lot of people. So you got to have the right people that are getting into other stuff. But now, so for like you specifically, if you scroll back on my Instagram and you look at some of the species I worked with, not a lot of those are expensive and not a lot of them need anything crazy. Some of them you could keep in racks perfectly fine. And you just have something that's just wild. It's completely out there. One of the best examples I would like to give people would be like the Goniosaurus orientalis, so the Japanese cave gecko. Everybody sees the Chinese cave geckos, but if you get into the Japanese species, the orientalis, the Toyami, and Yoshimine, probably just butchered that one, but their colors are insane on them, and they're $300-400 geckos. I mean, probably now $600 because just scarcity, but and you pull out a black and orange gecko that stays black and orange and looks like something from Halloween, like that's a badass lizard. And you get to just keep it and you can keep it in a tub if you want. Like you can do all that. So there's a lot that I think people just don't get to see because the community of people who work with more of the obscure stuff, there kind of almost is a gateway to get in once you start going more exclusive. It's like, why am I going to give these to you when I got 5 other people that want to do bloodline swaps? So you got to kind of do your dues in order to get in on these lists on some of these species. But once you're in, I mean, it's you start seeing doors open. Like, what the hell is that? Where'd that come from? How long you had that? So it's wild, man. It's wild.
Gotcha. Looking at Kane's comment, he says some people try to criminalize the pursuit of money in the industry, and that's wild. But if that's your only interest, then yeah, you're probably not going to make it. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think it's a
Oh
healthy
yeah,
balance, especially if you're doing it as a business. If you're doing a business, obviously you're trying to make
yep,
money. Even if you not like got hundreds of clutches or whatnot, but you're doing it
yeah,
like business minded, then
yeah.
obviously it's going to be some decisions that are money driven.
Oh, for
And
sure.
I don't knock that at all, but I do think it's a healthy balance. If it's just about the money, and if there
Yeah,
was no opportunity for any money, you wouldn't do it, then it's probably not it for you. Because like we was
100%.
talking before, I can't remember. I think it was before we went live, or it might have been like at the beginning of the show, but that don't matter. We was talking about like how slow like my season was this year,
Hmm.
and just how it's just been like overall net crappy. You know what I mean? If it was just about the money, and if it was just about like all that, and it wasn't something that I really wanted to do, something that I was really motivated, then I'd be like, man, fuck this. You know what I'm saying? Like, why deal with this?
Sure.
Why deal with that? You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't be motivated, but it's more to it. Like, it's fun. I definitely want to achieve the goals that I set out with uh these projects, especially like my main projects. And then it's also the community and network aspect. I've made friends in this industry that I feel like will be lifelong friends. You know what I mean? That will be lifelong friends, regardless of like where we at with it. You know what I mean? And so like that's
100%.
another big part, and that's another thing that helped like pull you to. And that's something that I didn't really like come in expecting. Like I didn't really have like no thoughts one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? Coming in,
Yeah.
I came in because of the animals, and then that's just something that came with it.
So when you came in, how like the industry as a whole, because you didn't go straight to ball pythons, did you feel like there was a
Oh, I did go straight to
difference?
ball pythons.
Oh, you did go. Then you
Yeah, I went straight
diversified
to
once you
ball
had?
pythons and start getting into some other species like pretty early
Gotcha.
on. Went the boa route, went the
Okay.
carpet python route at
So
invert, stuff like that.
did you feel like there was a difference in we'll just call it community, just lack of better words? Did you feel there was a difference in community as you went through different species? Or did
Species,
you, yeah. Like
I
did
feel
you feel
I
like the
feel like
boa community spoke to you different than the ball community?
to be honest, bro, like I wasn't super entrenched in the boa community.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I was more so entrenched in the ball python community,
Yeah.
and that's probably for like multiple reasons. Ball pythons was like the primary thing that got me in. It was the primary thing I
Yeah.
was working with. I was actively making ball python contacts, right? And so I
Yeah.
can't say that the boa community uh like never like kind of took me in or nothing like that,
Yeah.
because me myself personally, I wasn't making those moves to be
Yeah. You were committing yourself
entrenched
to the
in the
community.
boa community, right? Exactly. And so
Yeah.
uh my lack of building as many like relationships and connections and stuff like that in the bull community compared to the ball python community, that's, I would say, 95% driven just by how I approached it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do feel
Yeah. Yeah.
like the ball python community is bigger. I mean, that's obvious that the ball
Yeah.
python community is bigger. I do feel like the ball python community is a little bit more visible. Like if you just look at like ball python podcast is 102 ball python podcasts, but how many boa
Jeez.
podcasts? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
made that number up, but you know,
Yeah.
you
I
picking
mean,
up
I
what I'm
believed
putting
it.
down. You picking up what I'm putting down.
Yeah. 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 No, it's crazy because whenever you look at the ball python community, it's I mean, like anything, it's they all have their own subsects of people who just jive better together, and there's nothing wrong with that. But kind of like also going full circle with the whole the slow season and all that. I give away some of my best stuff to people who I just really want to see do well because for me, I had the the brick and mortar shop. I've did this for a living as income. I didn't like it. I didn't like it at all personally. It put too much strain on I need to make something versus I want to make something. And once I just said, you know what, like I'm keeping the 9 to 5. I don't care how much extra I make with this. I'm not going to give up my job because if a female doesn't go, that sucks next year. If I hatch something crazy and you're like, hey, that thing's sick as fuck, it'll help me get this project. Hey, you got a box coming next week, bro. It's coming. Like it's just I think it's within my people that I associate with daily. We have sent more animals back and forth of more value. Like even that man right there at the bottom, like he's like, hey, could you use this? I'm like, I don't know, maybe. He's like, all right, well, here's your tracking number. I'm like, oh shit, all right, well, like
It's coming.
yeah, it's on the way, bro. Like because he knows what I'm working and things like that. Where I think there's a lot of different ways to do it, and people are kind of again going back to with the video we were referencing earlier is at face value, there's so many true and untrue things with all of it because how I set myself up drastically changes how I look at things financially versus someone who is trying to do this for a living or does do it for a living or is so upside down they need to try to do something to really get out to at least try to break even so the business isn't just drowning. So there's so many different ways in which you can do this where that we all like I'm a LLC, but that's just for taxes. Like at the end of the day, I'll ship whatever I want. I don't care about the overhead. It's all for me. I'm doing what I want to do, and I'd rather see good people do well. It's just snakes, man. It's just snakes. As a couple years ago, Wilmer Rose was on a podcast and was like, kind of just talking shit about how the ball python community is nothing but a bunch of grown ass men arguing over the colors and patterns and snakes. I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I remember
Like,
saying
bro,
that.
I've got real life things going on. Like, yeah, you know what? Your snake does look better, bro. Cool. Have a good night. Like it doesn't matter to me. So I think the community itself is exactly where it's at. And most people I talk to, it's like 10% snakes and then it's life. Like we're just talking. We're we're people. And so it's good to have that community because then it takes away a lot of the angst of feeling like you got to catch up or I'm behind. Like, nah, am I? Absolutely. Every project I'm behind. I had something I'm excited for, and I'll go to post it, and I see someone posting the same thing with two other jeans. I'm like, when that happened? Like, it is what it is. You got to just be happy with what you got because unless you got the financial capital and the years ahead of everybody, we're all just having fun with it.
100%, 100%. And I agree that community piece is very important in my opinion. Especially like your circle and the people like you rocking with like heavy, like that's huge. That's huge.
Yeah, 100%. I have Matt coming in on a project that no one else has anything growing in on. I'm the only other person with jeans in play. I already told him like, hey, no matter what, the first two hit that whoever gets hit, like you and I, this stuff is staying between us until we decide we want to do whatever we want with it. But we'll talk offline about that just because I know him and I both want to kind of keep it a little secret. I don't have many secrets, and as one, I actually don't have much ever put out there about what we're working. So it's just little things like that where I don't, man, if you have a good group of people, the community is awesome and it's rewarding whenever you hatch cool stuff. I mean, as much as I'll send Limey a picture, and he's like, it's ugly, put it in the freezer. I'm like, oh, come on, bro. He's like, no, it's cool. Like you get that banter, you get that just, and there's no sensitivity with the people I talk with. Everything's just raw and heavily inappropriate. But that's the type of people that we just get along. There's ain't no pressure for nothing. So there's a community for everybody if you're willing to look for it.
Yeah, that keeps it fun.
Yeah.
For sure.
Real quick question for you. I know you got to kind of keep it short for the night. So for you specifically, when you're looking at your ball pythons, how many rough percentage, dude? Just rough percentage. Are you looking more for next year's production or 3 years production? When you're looking at, I'm breeding 20. Am I looking most of my clutches because I want to see something next year, or are you looking more? I want to see something in 3 years.
It probably depends. Like some year is more heavily, and it depends on the year. It depends on the project. Like some years, like I'm more heavily focused with like pushing a specific project because maybe like a male's got up the size and I got some females that's finally ready for that male and I'm pushing him, and that's gonna be like some visual stuff that I'm trying to hit. Or if it could be another project or another year and I'm really really like breathe for the future, trying to make like the pieces to get to like this visual that I'm trying to get, if that makes sense. It just
No,
kind
it
of really
does.
depends on like where I'm at with it, right?
Yeah,
I
cyclical,
don't
right?
need, yeah, I don't have like a ready set formula. You know what I mean? It just
Yeah.
kind of depends on where I'm at with the project and what I need, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right.
What
I
about
agree
you?
with that.
Like, what's your?
This year was very heavy in making stuff for me for the future. I gave up a lot of opportunities to make some cool stuff just to make some hits and some projects I want to work. But next year, it's very heavy into making what I want to see this like next year.
Yeah.
It's stuff I want to really see what I could unlock with paint next year. And so for me, this year was a whole lot of cutting eggs, and it's like, you know, 2, 3 genes, but it's all really just the hits I'm bringing with them. So it's not terribly exciting. You're happy when you hit something, but
Uh-huh.
next year is going to be like every egg. You're like, oh, what's in there? I'm like, all right. And then I'll send pictures to somebody, and they're like, bro, you missed everything. Like, no, I see it. Look at there's a squiggly there. Like, yeah, next year will be one of those rough years where just excited for every clutch because it's all stuff that I'm not even going to know what it's supposed to look like.
Yeah. Like this year was supposed to be a year where I was gonna be hitting like some nice visual stuff that I wanted to see. But like I said, man, a lot of the stuff I was most anticipating, it didn't go this year. So I just push it to next year. At least
Yeah.
for the most part. It might be some things I might like spin the block and maybe go a different direction because like now I
Yeah.
got something else available and I can
Yeah.
make some a little bit better. And so like
Other
maybe it
stuff
worked
grew
out for
up or whatever.
like maybe it worked out for the best anyway. Like that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hopefully next year goes better for you, man. We'll have
Man,
to
I'm
run it back
hoping,
and see
man.
how it goes.
Knock on wood, man. Hopefully next year, knock it out the
Yeah.
park.
It'll be the year, man.
Yeah. I try not to anticipate it. It's hard not to anticipate because
You have to, man, because or else what are you looking forward to?
right. Because like
You got
I
to
was talking with
anticipate it.
Takash, I was like, man, everything I'm super anticipate, it ain't going. She's like, try not to anticipate it. I can't help it.
Yeah.
Like that's
Yeah.
that's the game right there.
You're like, this is me not anticipating it.
Like,
Yeah.
the
How
whole
does she feel
game,
about all of it?
the whole game is anticipation.
Oh, for sure. How does she feel about all of it? She is like into any of your projects more than the others, or?
From the project perspective, she more so like on the operational side of things and like just
Okay.
helping keep things going. Like that is super like
That's
it's
invaluable, man.
invaluable. It's invaluable. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. Thank you for helping pull that out my head. But yeah, that's so helpful because it make things more efficient,
For sure.
peace of mind, all that good stuff. So I
Yeah.
couldn't be more thankful. You know what I mean?
Nah, she does great. All your stuff, all your content's always really squared away, man. It always looks good. Your commercials have me cracking up.
Yeah, man. I have fun doing those. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Looks good, man.
But yeah, man, I hate to get out here early, but like I said, man, I got another obligation I got to get to early in the morning, so I'm gonna have to wrap
Hey, that's
things up
life.
early for
Yeah.
tonight. But man, we definitely gonna have to get on, do a part 2. Like I say, maybe get you and some more West Coast fellas on and do like another West Coast based show, man. Because I think it's time for another one. We ain't had one
sure.
in almost a year, probably.
Yeah.
So it's definitely time for another one.
Yeah, we'll do that, and then we'll have to figure out how to get you out here to some California shows, man.
Bro, yes.
We'll get you out here.
Yeah.
Matt comes down every now and then, so we'll have to link it up when everybody shows up.
Yeah, for sure. No pun intended.
Yeah, there is a show this weekend, Anaheim. Go to Anaheim this weekend. You want to catch some Paint and True Ghost stuff? I'll have it on the booth. I'll be with Portuguese Pythons, my other family.
Yeah, big shout out to them, man. Big shout out to them. But that's gonna do it for tonight, man. Appreciate everybody sliding through tonight, checking us out. Big shout out to the replay game when y'all come through. Make sure y'all drop a comment. Let us know you were here. Hashtag replay game. Let us know what you think about the show. Big shout out to Danny and Renee. We see you there. Big shout out to Lyman, your whole crew, man. That's gonna do it for tonight for Clutch Conversations. Mike, it's the homie Travis, and the lovely lady behind the scenes is the car.
Appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for coming out. Be blessed. Peace.